Katharine Murphy.
Hello, Prime Minister. Katharine Murphy from Guardian Australia. You've mentioned in your speech today a number of serious threats to democratic nation states, and you also dwelt on the subject of trust, which is one. There's one dimension of trust that I want to put to you directly. To be direct, a lot of Australian voters think that politicians tell lies. They stand at podiums like the one you're standing at, and they tell lies. Do you accept any responsibility as Prime Minister for the state of the discourse? Do you accept that you need to be factual in how you respond to issues and what you say about things? And if the answer to that question is yes, then why are so many of your frontbenchers misrepresenting the basic facts that are in the medical transfers bill? How does that behaviour, within 5 minutes of an election, we can all see it, how does that rebuild public trust in institutions?
Well, I don't agree, with great respect, with your assessment in terms of the conduct of my colleagues. What I and my colleagues have been doing, and in fact that's why I declassified the Home Affairs advice so people could read it for themselves. It's out there. You can read it for yourself. The warning is very clear. I think that's very consistent with the type of behaviour that you're asking from me, to ensure that there's a very clear... I mean, how many times, you've been around this town a long time, Katharine, how many times have you seen a Prime Minister declassify that type of advice and make it available to the country? It's a shame that it took Bill 5 days to even respond to my letter and asked to see it. I'm even more amazed, as Matthias Cormann reminded me this morning, that when Labor voted for this bill in the Senate last year, they didn't even get a security briefing on this. See, my great disappointment, and it's not a strong enough word, what I and other ministers have gone through to restore Australia's borders, I lived through those horrible years when the bodies were piling up. And I vowed to myself when I came to government, when Tony was Prime Minister, that we were never, ever going to allow this to happen again. And what is happening in our Australian Parliament right now, it may be entirely well motivated. I'm not making any judgments about people's motivations here. In fact, quite the opposite. But what I am doing is they do not know what they're playing with. They have no idea of the consequences of what they are playing with. And they will unleash a world of woe again. How do I know? I've seen it before. And I never, ever want to see it again. So I'm not going to step back from calling it as tough and as straight as I can. If Bill Shorten allows that bill to pass in any way, shape or form, that's the test. That's the only test going on in the Parliament this week. It's not who wins or loses a vote. The only test is, will Bill Shorten cave in and undermine our border protection by passing this bill in any form? And if he does, Australians have only been able to confirm what they already know about him.